It's 6 a.m. on a Sunday. You are fast asleep in a warm, comfortable bed. Suddenly, you hear it.
Meow.
You try to ignore it. You pull the blanket over your head. You tell yourself they still have food in their bowl. But the sound comes again. A slightly higher pitch, a little more urgent.
Meow.
Within 2 minutes, you are out of bed, walking to the kitchen to open a can of cat food. You didn't want to get up. You were exhausted. But something inside your brain made it physically impossible to ignore that specific sound. Most cat owners think, well, that's just how cats talk. That's the cat language. But behavioral biology tells a completely different and slightly terrifying story. When your cat looks up at you and meows, they are not speaking cat. In fact, adult cats in the wild almost never meow at each other. The sound your cat just made is an acoustic manipulation tactic, a highly evolved, biologically engineered tool designed to hack the human nervous system. Today, we are going to look at the hidden science of the meow. And once you understand what your cat is actually doing to your brain, you will realize that you are not the one in charge. Let's start by looking at cats in their natural wild state. If you observe feral cats or wild feline species interacting with each other, they're almost entirely silent. They communicate using scent marking, body language, tail positions, and ear movements. The only time they use vocalizations is to hiss when they are angry or to yowl during a fight. So where does the meow come from? In nature, the meow is strictly a kitten behavior. Tiny, helpless kittens meow to tell their mother that they are cold, hungry, or in danger. But as soon as a wildcat grows up, it stops meowing. It outgrows it. But domestic cats, our house cats, they keep meowing their entire lives, but only at reading feline body language. You don't notice when their tail twitches. You can't read their scent marks. So they realized they had to use sound to get your attention. But they didn't just pick any sound. They picked a sound that your specific biology cannot ignore. In 2009, a groundbreaking study was conducted by Dr. Karen McComb at the University of Sussex. She wanted to know why humans find it so difficult to ignore a cat asking for food. Dr. McComb recorded the vocalizations of cats when they were simply purring, and then recorded them when they were actively soliciting food from their owners, something she called the Solicitation Purr. She then played these recordings to humans. Even people who had never owned a cat immediately rated the solicitation purrs as more urgent, demanding, and unpleasant to ignore. When researchers analyzed the audio frequencies, what they found was absolutely mind-blowing. Embedded right in the middle of the cat's low-pitched purr was a high-frequency cry, and that cry peaked exactly between 300 and 600 hertz. Do you know what else peaks at exactly that same auditory frequency? A crying human infant. Mammals are biologically hardwired to respond to the distress cries of their offspring. When a human hears a sound in that specific frequency range, our brain releases cortisol. It triggers our caregiving instincts. It makes us feel anxious until the baby is soothed. Cats evolved to mimic the exact acoustic trigger of a human baby. They hacked our mammalian brains. They figured out the evolutionary password to our caregiving instincts. That is why you get out of bed at 6 a.m.
Now, at this point, you might be thinking your cat is just a cold, calculating manipulator, a tiny villain living in your house. But here is the twist, and it is incredibly beautiful. Scientists have found that feral cats, cats that live near humans but aren't pets, have very generic meows. They all sound basically the same. But house cats? every single house cat develops a completely unique meow. Why? Because over the years of living with you, your cat has been running experiments. They try different pitches, different lengths, and different tones, and they watch your reaction. They learn exactly which specific meow gets you to open the door, which meow gets you to give them a treat, which meow gets you to pet them. Your cat didn't just learn a generic human language, they invented a custom dialect, a secret language that exists only between the two of you. No other cat in the world sounds exactly like your cat, because no other cat is talking to you. So the next time your cat looks up at you and lets out a meow, don't just think they're being annoying. Recognize what is actually happening. You are listening to an evolutionary masterpiece, a creature that domesticated itself, hacked the human nervous system, and then spent years inventing a completely unique language just so it could speak to its favorite human. If this changed the way you look at your cat, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below.